2D-based stealth games can be hit or miss, but there's a brand new one on the PlayStation 4 called Ronin. But does this game sneak its way in for the kill? Or is this one ninja who's spotted and taken out before the mission even starts? Ronin is a 2D action stealth game that has a very interesting control scheme. You actually use the right stick in order to aim where your character is jumping, instead of a traditional press X to jump and platform. The story in Ronin is your pretty basic revenge plot. Your character has a motorcycle mask and escapes on their motorcycle after causing all kinds of chaos. Your goal is to work your way through all of the underlings before finally making it to the head boss. You even have a photo where you get to cross out each of the ones that you're taking out as you're going through, and works as the game's load screen. Because of this, the game is basically chapter-based, with each of the chapters having 3 missions to them. 2 in order to gather intel, and then the third one where you get to take out that next person in line as you're making your way through the organization. What sets the game apart, though, is that interesting control scheme, having to aim up your jumps with the right stick and being able to grapple hook at points in order to swing, be able to pull yourself closer, and even be able to jump through windows to break them. When you are spotted or get into combat, it's kind of turn-based. Everything comes to a pause. You then get to choose where you would like to jump or send your character. You get the trajectory of all the incoming fire or attacks from your enemies, as well as, of course, you can see where your jump's going to be. The white part of your jump shows what's going to happen before your enemies get an attack. However, the red portion of it indicates after they end up attacking. And because of this, you start to get a strategy of figuring out where you can jump to, be at the height of your jump, so that you'll be able to avoid the next incoming fire. This allows you to take out one enemy by running into him, then quickly throwing your sword at another enemy across the room, and then running, grabbing it, picking it up, and returning quickly to stab the guy you initially knocked down. This leads to some really cool action moments, that is for sure. The game features a variety of enemy types: your typical agent, which will be able to fire a single pistol shot at a time, machine gun carrying guys, and the very powerful Ronin that actually can charge and actually slice you in half or even hit you as you're trying to get near them. You have to get close enough to attack them without being too close for them to be able to hit you. There's definitely a game of cat and mouse involved with them, and for a majority of the enemies you're going to be dealing with. Along with going through the missions, you can earn skill points to upgrade your skill tree, which will give you some other new abilities, some of which are very useful for tackling the levels. To earn a skill point, though, you have to perfect a mission. Basically achieve all the sub-goals and, of course, complete the mission itself. Usually the sub-goals entail not killing actual civilians, making sure no alarms were tripped, or killing every one of the enemies in the level. I will say it takes time getting used to the whole right stick to jump mechanic. Once you do get the hang of how everything works and kind of how like the turn-based stuff works in battles, there is definitely enjoyment to be had, but it will take you a bit probably to get used to that whole thing. Overall, though, even with the 5 chapters, it's basically the same thing for each of the missions, though of course there is a different layout to the buildings you're going to have to explore to find intel and take out enemies and all, but for the most part it's the same basic goals as you're going through. From the technical side of things, I didn't run into any major problems as far as glitching, crashing, or slowdown of any sort. Difficulty-wise, it's all going to be how quickly you're able to master the controls, and then overall how good you are at stealth play mechanics. Basically, one shot from them is going to kill you, and one attack with your sword will kill most enemies. The Ronins you'll have to attack and then attack again. The game gets obviously more difficult as you're going through, but thankfully there's a decent amount of checkpoints. Basically, when you get intel or kill a key amount of enemies, it does end up checkpointing you, so when you end up failing or dying, you'll start back just a little bit ways back instead of all the way back at the beginning of the mission. Ronin is available on the PlayStation 4 for $9.99, and it does not feature a Platinum trophy, though there is multiple endings and a New Game Plus. Even with its low price point, it's still a relatively short experience, and honestly the control scheme never fully ended up winning me over even as I got farther in. With everything said, I'm going to be giving the game, though, a 6 out of 10. But anyway guys, that's going to wrap up this review. I'd like to thank you for watching, and of course, I hope you enjoyed.